Let me start the presentation on ear balance disorder, how it happens in overview. First of all, I have to describe what is vestibulocochlear complex. The green colored bone, it's called temporal bone, inside of which is situated the in middle ear as well as the inner ear. It is marked with red border, that area of the bone. It's a cut section of that bone in which the structures are shown. Starts from the membrane, tympanic membrane, through the three ossicles, which are the smallest bones in our body, and then cochlea as well as the semicircular canals. We'll describe everything in detail later on. Now we will be concentrating on the cochlea as well as the semicircular canals. Cochlea is for hearing, and the semicircular canals help in controlling our balance. This is shown in the 3D. The yellow color bones of the vestibulocochlear complex. The vestibulocochlear and semicircular canals are shown in red things. Now we will talk about the cochlea and the semicircular canals. Both of these are situated in the bony labyrinth, in which the membranous labyrinth consisting of cochlea and semicircular canals is positioned. Cochlea. This is a diagrammatic representation of cochlea. It's a very small size. It forms a cone approximately 9 millimeter in diameter at its base and 5 millimeter in height. When stretched out, the spiral tube is approximately 30 millimeter in length. That small one not only help us, hears everything from outside. In the semicircular canals, the vestibular apparatus senses changes in the position of head in relation to gravity. The vestibular hair cells are situated in the saccule as well as the semicircular canals below, the cupola. And we go for the membranous labyrinth. Membranous labyrinth contains fluid. It's called the endolymph. When we move our head, there is a movement in the canals which sends the data to the brain, and we know where we stand or whether we are rotating or not. How the balancing system works. The semicircular rings in the vestibular system are oriented perpendicular to each other. That is very important. The ends of these tubes open to the utricle. On the other side of the head, semicircular canals are positioned as mirror images, so that all the 6 canals from both sides are positioned at different planes and directions. When head is rotated, there will be fluid movement in these canals. The flow rate, speed and direction of flow will be different for each ring. Brain calculates these inputs and arrives at the decision of the direction of head movement. Brain is always cross-checking these with the visual input from the eye. Usually it will be matching when there is no problem. If there is no match, brain decides that what you see is wrong and applies a correction to the visual input. This results in the feeling of rotation of the surroundings. This happens when a child rotates on the vertical axis and abruptly stops. Then the child can see that the earth is rotating. Everybody should have done it earlier in the childhood. This happens because brain applies a correction according to the data input. This data is generated by the sensor cells in the otolithic membrane positioned adjacent to each semicircular canal. We shall discuss it briefly. This is the position of the cupola in the dilated part of each semicircular canal. And the person on the left side is standing steady. This is then there will be no movement in the cupola, which is marked in the lower portion as the with red border. In this position, that person is rotating on the vertical axis. The cupola moves to the right side, as seen in this. This happens in every cupola, 6 of them in varying degrees. The signals to the brain are generated by the hair cells inside the otolithic membrane, on which is the cupola position. This is the otolithic membrane. This is a small portion of otolithic membrane drawn to explain it. What you see is the very highly magnified narrow side of the membrane. The blue colored cells are the sensors which sends the data of head movement to the brain. These are kept bundled among the thickly packed cells. There are almost 15,000 such sensor cells in each otolithic membrane. Each hair cell is connected to the vestibular center of brain by neurons. That is shown here with a black border. Above the layer of thickly packed cells is a layer of transparent jelly which gets the cilia of the sensor cells. When cupola above the membrane moves, there will be a slight movement of the cilia of sensor cells. This leads to generation of impulses by the sensor cell, which will pass on to the brain as action potentials. To elicit data properly from all the sensor cells, the jelly layer has to be under pressure. For this purpose, there is a layer of ultramicroscopic calcium carbonate crystals dispersed all over the membrane, which is shown with the red border. Otoconia of humans are very small, ranging in size from roughly 3 to 30 microns, averaging about 10 microns in size, which can be seen only with a powerful microscope. The electron microscopy image of the otoconia is set as inset. This is somewhat more magnified view of the same. When these otoliths get loosened by head trauma or microwave radiation from mobile phone or mobile towers, there is a chance that it may enter any of the semicircular canals. When it happens, there will be a slight resistance for the flow of endolith in that particular semicircular canal. So that slight fluid movement will continue in that particular ring for some more time. The vestibular center in the brain takes it as the continuation of head movement. But there will not be fluid flow in other 5 canals. Brain get confused also. This is the reason for nausea, heaviness of head, vomiting, etc. experienced by the patient. The fact is that it is impossible to move the head with resultant fluid movement in only one semicircular canal. But brain still considers that the head is being rotated to that position. The patient experiences that head is being forcibly rotated to that impossible position. The reason for the traumatic experience of the patient. As there will be no movement felt in the visual input, brain rotates the visual input to that impossible position to synchronize with the input from the particular semicircular canal. This experience is impossible to perceive by persons, including doctors, who the reason for confusion of the management of UPP is the same. If doctors had it, they can understand. Otherwise, it is never going to be understood. Many people with BPP feel that there is whistling or other sounds in the ear. Now we shall look into the reason for the sound in BPP. For which I have to explain the pathway of the nerve fibers from both cochlea and vestibular rings. These yellow colored fibers are nerve fibers, white from both the semicircular canal and cochlea. To start with, they are called vestibular nerve as well as cochlear nerve. Afterwards, they are joined to form a single nerve fiber, and it enters the brain. There it again bifurcates to cochlear nerve and semicircular and visual cortex nerve. If there is no errors in the signals from any of it, there will be no problem. When there is vertigo or BPP, the signals rising from the semicircular rings will be having some errors, reason for the vertigo. These fibers interact with the auditory fibers, that is fibers coming from the cochlea. It causes an interference in the cochlear nerve fibers also. When these error fibers arising from the cochlear nerve due to the interference, the signals reaches the auditory center. Brain interprets these signals as error signal, auditory signals, which sound signals, so that the brain starts to hear the sounds which are not existing. That is the reason for the whistling sound and other sounds heard by the BPV patients. But I will go and this I have explained so that we just jump in. Inside the brain, vestibular cochlear nerve again bifurcates. That is shown here. To on the right side is the bifurcated nerve fibers. The vestibular cochlear nerve is a sensory nerve. It is made up of two nerves, the cochlear, which transmits sound, and the vestibular, which controls balance. Normal condition, the arrangement works beautifully. This I have already explained. When there is balance problem, there will be defective signals from the vestibular section. These abnormal signals interact with the neurons from the cochlear nerve, causing some error in these fibers. When these error signals reach the auditory cortex of the brain, the auditory nerve centers interpret it as error signals as sound. The result in the patient hearing whistling or as hissing sound, etc., which actually does not exist. This situation is seen in around 60% of BPP patients. When the BPP is got corrected, usually it goes away. I have tried to explain this as simple as possible, but I know that still there will be doubts on the subject. This presentation will be uploaded as a video and the links will be sent to all. You may share the links to as many as possible so that more persons will be aware of the problem.